Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Eve, the empath, coming to deliver messages from Spirit. I am here today to talk to you about the poisons that we allow in our life. There are times when we have situations that come up, where we have circumstances that are beyond our control, and we can allow an infection that was introduced to us either at an early age as a child or as an adult to come in and infiltrate us. So when I was sitting around today working, Spirit was very clear as I was getting these messages. And what they were saying to me was, when we have poison in our body, it is important to eradicate it immediately. But a lot of times the poison comes in so subtle that we don't realize it. It's like getting low doses of maybe cyanide or something else, that over time it changes who we are. It changes the DNA of our bodies. It changes the DNA and how our bodies and our minds and our hearts and everything around us moves. So we become accustomed to this life where we have a state of infection, if you will. And in that infection, we live so disconnected to everything around us, including ourselves. We're disconnected from ourselves, we're disconnected from source, or we're limited into the connection that we serve or into the connection that we feel and or receive. So when Spirit is talking to us, we don't get it. We can't hear, we can't see, we can't smell, because we are allowing something else that is outside of who we're supposed to be to infiltrate who we are and change the direction and the dynamic of who we are. I'll give an example. Say you're a young person and you have had a traumatic experience. Say you're beaten. You have parents who are addicted to drugs and you're beaten. And as a result, you develop this a way to move into the world. You develop a way where you can disconnect or disassociate. When that happens, when life is coming at you, you don't react the same way as somebody who's never been hurt. You react in a way that is protective, what feels to be protective, but it's a survival method. And when you're in survival mode, you are disconnected. So Spirit is saying that you have to choose, we have to choose to tackle the poison. If you're bitten by a snake, if you leave the poison in, you're going to die, right? But what they tell you is if you have an antiviral or an anti-venom, it comes from the poison itself, where you actually have to take the poison and insert it into your body to get the cure. You have to go back to who you were before the injury. And that can be tough. It could be scary, it could be painful, and it can be hard. Because for some of us, we block out things. We choose to block things out because we don't want to deal, or the scar is so painful. It's sort of like being in a car accident where your body has multiple fractures, many contusions, blunt force traumas, and it's so painful, lots of swelling. It's so painful that your body goes into a coma. You go to sleep. And the reason for that is because the shock of that pain all at once will kill you. It's too much. It's so much pain that you can't physically process it in the body that you're in, that you have to slowly heal in order to come back to self. But a lot of times we stay asleep. We stay asleep because we don't realize that we are. We just assume that everything that has happened to us is supposed to be how life is supposed to be, and we attract constant situations that bring us back to that until we learn to wake up. So for me, I learned that some of the triggers, some of the poison that was injected or inserted into me was from childhood. Sometimes we get it from people that we love, and sometimes it's from people that we think we love, right? Or from situations. I want to say 10 years old when I got one of my first traumas. And it seemed so simple. It seemed so minute, but it completely changed the trajectory of my life. I was in the 5th grade. I had the biggest crush on this guy. And at the time, I didn't realize that I had issues with self-image and abandonment. I wasn't abandoned. My mom and dad didn't abandon me, but I did have a life where there was separation from both one of my parents and the other one had to work. And so, as a result, there was a lack of affection. There was a lack of, I would say, it wasn't intimacy, but it was a lack of nurture. That's exactly what it was. It was a lack of nurture. And we have to understand that taking care of something doesn't necessarily give you the nurturing aspects that we need. It's the physical touch, it's the understanding, it's the ability to communicate and understand and learn healthy boundaries. And so when we have situations early in life, they become our core beliefs of what we are and who we are. So for me, I decided to have this crush, and this crush rejected me in the most horrible way. He said to me, I a little stalker as a little kid, right? So I went to this school where we had these directories, and so I was too shy to approach him directly. So I called him, and we were talking. We would chat on the phone, and then he was like, "Show me who you are." Well, my mom used to love Sister Sledge, and she had this Sister Sledge album cover, and she decided to braid my hair every other week in these little funky hairstyles. And I was like, Mama, I don't really like it, but that's how I went to school. Needless to say, this young man saw me and immediately called me ugly. He was like, "You that ugly girl with them plaits in your head." I remember like it was yesterday, because I was like, what you mean? Needless to say, it shaped me as a person. And I would say the next 3 crushes kind of ended the same way. So here was this blow where all of a sudden, where I extend myself out into the world and there's an immediate rejection, and I began to have this self-image about me, and it literally took me years to overcome. It took me years to realize that I had been carrying his words in my heart as if they were the words of the Creator. And that might sound small to a lot of people, but I bet you, peanuts to pearls, that there's someone else out there just like me who has listened to the voice of someone else become their reality. So I found myself in these relationships where I was overgiving and overcompensating. Why? Because I needed to feel love. I needed it to be returned back to me. And as a result, I would run into people who probably did love me, but a lot of times they abused that love because they didn't love themselves. Because a lot of times we meet people where we are, spiritually, emotionally, physically. We meet people on the level that we vibrate. So I was vibrating in a place where I didn't belong because I didn't know who I was. I didn't realize just how beautiful of a soul I was. And not talking about the physical image, but the image on the inside, who our Creator made me to be. This being that came into this world to deliver love and hope to the masses. That's who I was. But I didn't see that. I was defined by this poison that had been in my veins, tearing me apart year over year over year over year, and attracting people who was trying to help me extract it from my system by showing me who I was. And they didn't show me by holding up a mirror and saying, "Eve, you're a beautiful woman." No, they showed me by giving me shit. They showed me by giving me the things that I didn't want, until I got strong enough to say, you know what, fuck this. This is not what I want. This is not what I came here for. And then I started to realize just who I was. So when you choose to live in the poison, when you allow it to stay in your body, it infiltrates every area of your life. And you will see mishaps at work. You will see mishaps in your relationships. You will see mishaps with your children, with your family dynamic, where you're either overcompensating, or you have the inability to connect, or you have the inability to trust. These are all poisons that come in. And a lot of times they happen when you're young. So Spirit is saying to you today that you have a choice to live in the past disconnected, or you can connect to who you are. We can connect to who we are by allowing that poison to get out of our system, by allowing us to see exactly who we are at any given moment, and trust that Spirit makes no mistakes. That if I experience this situation, it was only meant to make us stronger. It was meant to make me stronger, to develop a thicker skin, to develop a passion, to develop a light that I just didn't see in myself. I was cast down by shadows of someone else's words, and it was probably a reflection of how he felt about himself, but I took ownership of it. How many of you do that? How many times do you allow someone else's words to be your reality? And then when your life goes to shit, you want to look outside and be like, why did this happen to me? Nah, you can't blame something or someone else, extenuating circumstances for the choices that you allow yourself to still have. As a child, I didn't know any better, but it was character development. It was meant to make me grow. Now, how fast I grew was my choice. Because when I had the first relationship where I wasn't respected, I could have said, oh, hell no, we're not going to do that. But instead, I overcompensated. Spirit is saying it's time to stop. It's time to stop living and leaning on the past pain as a result of why you stay in the shit that you're in. It's your choice. If you were raped as a child, you can't help that, right? Those are things that would be on your control. But how you move forward in this life, looking at it, examining it, and saying, okay, yes, this happened, but it doesn't define me. It doesn't determine how I'm going to continue to move in this life. Am I going to allow people to continue to run over me? Or am I going to continue to be not overexerted, but over demanding or over critical? Or am I going to continue to live in a shell or shallow? Nah, it's a choice. It's a choice. So when Spirit is talking to you, by showing you in your relationships, by showing you, it's up to you to decide if you're going to hold on to that poison and live disconnected, or if you're going to allow it to go and feel connected back to who you truly are, to reunite with the Spirit inside of you and grow in your own self and your own magic, because you are magic. You are powerful. You are loved. You are kind if you allow yourself to be. That's all I have for you guys today. I want you to remember that it is a choice. Life is a choice. And if you choose to continue with toxic traits from the poison of your past, then you're going to continue to get the shit that you don't like. And when you're ready to step out of it, it is a wonderful world to move into. It is a wonderful world to move into a place where you can trust Creator for everything, where you can look up and know that no matter what is going on in your life, it is not going to shake you. Because even if you die trying, you're moving up in your level of consciousness, and you won't have to repeat the same shit in the next lifetime. So that's all I have for you again today, guys. I love you so, so much. I hope you like this message. And if you do, please like, share, subscribe. And if not, it's okay, because I don't want you to vibrate in places that you don't belong. I have a wonderful, wonderful day. Love and bliss. Bye.